Have you ever watched an entire franchise bet everything they had on one risky move, only for it all to collapse in the blink of an eye? Right now, the Dallas Mavericks are at the center of one of the NBA's most disastrous trade stories in modern history. What began as a win-now vision turned into a frenzy of injuries, controversies, and bleak prospects.
Don't look, Candace, if you haven't seen it already. Goes down, goes to the free throw line, clearly emotional. He knows that something has happened.
I feel for Kyrie. Dallas they still had a chance with a healthy him, with a healthy AD. Now, they don't have a shot.
That's why I feel like a lot of us, for me personally, you hate to see that because he's put his best foot forward since he stepped into Dallas.
But as shocking as it might look on the surface, the real reasons behind this fiasco are even more unsettling than most fans realize. But that's not all. When word first broke that Luka Dončić had been traded for Anthony Davis, jaws dropped all around the basketball world. On paper, it appeared ludicrous, sending off a young superstar with years of dominance ahead of him in exchange for a 30-something big man battling an injury-prone past.
Oh, Anthony Davis went down to get hit in the midsection. Şengün. And remember that Davis just missed time with an abdominal injury.
Yet within the Mavs' inner circle, there was a logic they claimed made perfect sense. Management believed Luka's future, though bright, wasn't guaranteed to align with their short window to nab a championship. They wanted an immediate shot at the title, and Davis, with Kyrie Irving already on board, was supposed to be the missing piece. It was a gamble that could skyrocket them to a coveted NBA trophy, or sink them faster than anyone could predict. Behind the scenes, rumors swirled that the front office and Luka hadn't been on the same page for months. Some cited friction over playing style and future roster plans. Others whispered about deeper clashes no one wanted to discuss publicly. Regardless, the Mavs took their leap. The moment that trade was finalized, fans braced themselves, wondering if this bold decision would lead to glory or heartbreak. But listen to this. As soon as Davis arrived in Dallas, all eyes were on him. The media hype was electric. Could the Mavs dethrone the West's top contenders? Would the Kyrie and AD tandem forge a fearsome 1-2 punch? For a fleeting moment, Dallas believed its time had finally come. But Davis's glory lasted less than one full game. Fans watched in horror as he exited with an injury that left the Mavs scrambling. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving stepped up to fill Luka's absence and suddenly found himself thrust into an astronomical workload. Night after night, Irving shouldered an offense with minimal support in the front court. At one point, Davis, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, and Dwight Powell were all sidelined, leaving the team so thin they resorted to using unconventional lineups that left everyone scratching their heads. It gets even crazier. It didn't take long for the skepticism to rain down from every corner of the basketball community. Whispers turned into shouts. Had the Mavs front office truly realized how vulnerable this newly constructed team would be if their fragile stars got hurt? In the swirl of commentary, many pointed to their missing anchor, Luka Dončić. For years, the Mavs had relied on him to steer them through storms just like this. Without him, Dallas seemed adrift, struggling to patch up holes in a sinking ship. And here's where things take an unexpected turn. The real horror struck like a bolt of lightning. Kyrie Irving drove to the rim during a heated game, twisted awkwardly, and immediately went down.
Great score in the league.
Got Kyrie down here.
The diagnosis? A torn ACL. Just like that, the team's offensive engine was gone.
That is obviously a major concern, what's going on right now.
Fans froze in stunned silence as they watched Irving struggle to leave the court. Every bit of that win-now plan hinged on Kyrie staying healthy. After all, Davis was already sidelined. Now the Mavs faced their worst nightmare. Crippling injuries to both superstars in a matter of weeks.
They have no shot of winning a championship without Kyrie and without a healthy AD.
In an instant, that short-term championship plan vaporized. Commentators echoed the same sentiment. Dallas had not only forfeited a generational talent in Luka, but also gambled their future on two players notoriously prone to injuries. Any chance to salvage this season was over, and the blow extended beyond the next few months.
It's not easy sitting up all day in the bed and recovering and thinking about the what ifs and what could have possibly went this way or that way.
Irving's recovery timeline was expected to spill well into the next season, leaving Dallas with a hollowed-out roster and no shining star to carry the load. Wait until you hear the next part. As the reality of the injuries sank in, Dallas fans began to revolt. They showed up to home games only to be escorted out by security for heckling the general manager. Banners were spotted calling for massive changes in the front office. Twitter erupted with furious rants about the broken state of the team. Protesters stood outside the arena, chanting for the organization to make immediate changes or face a mass boycott from fans who felt betrayed. In a desperate attempt at damage control, some Mavs executives went on record trying to justify why they shipped away Luka. They spoke of chemistry concerns, injury fears, and intangible locker room tensions, but the public wasn't buying it. Meanwhile, a shadow of an old rumor persisted. The idea that certain members within the Mavs organization never fully appreciated Luka's style. Perhaps they worried he was too ball-dominant, or maybe they just felt overshadowed. Now, with a mounting injury crisis, every detail of that rumor was dissected and magnified. Yet, there's another twist to this story. Before the trade, most people assumed Dallas was set for nearly a decade of competitive basketball, anchored by a transcendent star in Luka Dončić. Yes, he had his own minor injuries, but his future was undeniably luminous. Trading that away for Anthony Davis made one thing crystal clear. The Mavs were chasing an extremely narrow window. They'd pinned their hopes on capturing an NBA title this year or the next, banking on AD's star power aligning with Kyrie's brilliance. Yet the Mavs sorely underestimated how easily that window could shatter. The moment both AD and Kyrie went down, Dallas's plan turned from bold to reckless. No matter how you look at it, the margin for error with a fragile superstar is much thinner than with a player like Luka, who's proven year after year he can carry a roster farther than it has any business going. Overnight, the Mavs lost not just the present, but possibly several seasons of contention, all because of one gamble that demanded perfect health from injury-prone stars. With both AD and Kyrie shelved, the Mavs face an identity crisis. Do they cut their losses and pivot to a rebuild, collecting whatever scarce assets they can muster to salvage the future? Or do they stubbornly hold on, hoping Anthony Davis can bounce back quickly while Kyrie defies the odds and returns stronger? Either path is fraught with challenges. In retrospect, this fiasco reads like a cautionary tale of how quickly a franchise can go from poised for greatness to teetering on the brink of disaster. By trading Luka Dončić for an injury-prone Anthony Davis, then relying heavily on Kyrie Irving to pick up the slack, the Mavs bet everything on an extremely slim margin of error. One injury, let alone two, was enough to send it all spiraling. No one expected a story like this to unfold so quickly, or so tragically. Yet here we are watching an entire era of Mavs basketball unravel before it truly began. If there's one lesson to glean, it's that you never truly know when a supposed perfect plan is headed straight for disaster. Where Dallas goes from here is a mystery, but one thing is clear. The aftermath of this trade may haunt them for a very long time. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss our next upload.